Hello, I'm Lauren, and today I'm going to be talking about my math lesson plan and the activities it involves. And so that lesson is a triangle search and sort in the forest. This lesson is focused primarily on second grade students, so that's an age range from 5 to 8. And the main objectives and goals are centered around understanding the concept of different types of triangles, being able to differentiate between the three triangle types and explain why, as well as being able to make predictions and then experiment with measurement to see if those predictions are true or false. So the first part of the lesson is split into two activities, the first part being the search and the second part being the sort. So the search portion sounds pretty much, it's a search for triangles in the forest. The first thing you want to start off with is having a discussion with your students about what types of things might be triangles that you would find in the forest. You can either do that before or say when you get to the forest plot. So I have some examples of things that you may find, and you should definitely scope out the forest plot beforehand and figure out what objects are there. And if you don't have a lot of access to triangular objects up there, you should provide your own. So basically, bring them up with you, scatter them around. So here we have bark and pine cones are both good examples of triangles. Fern leaves are another good example. You have potentially shells and other types of leaves, and this is a good time to talk about, you're not going to find exact perfect triangle shapes, most likely, though maybe you will, but you're going to find things that look a lot like triangles and can be kind of defined as a triangular shape. You can also have sticks that are attached together in a triangle manner, like this, if you want to be more exact. So, once your students have gone through and they've done their searching, either in groups, in pairs, individually, depends on the size of your class and your students, of course, bring them back and then discuss, what did we find? What did we expect to find? What did we find? And were there some things that we were surprised we didn't find? Were some of the things, like, we didn't think we'd find a snail shell that was a triangle, or, things along those lines. So the second part of the activity is the sorting part. And this one is a little more of the advanced section and gets into some more of the goals of the overall lesson. So the first part of that is to have previously discussed the idea that there are different types of triangles. We're going to be focusing on 3 types of triangles today. Equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles, and scalene triangles. So these concepts will have already been addressed in class, and we're going to do some work and experiment with the concepts, so they'll all be familiar with them. So as you can see here, I have 3 sheets of paper that would be much bigger if I was actually doing this with the class, that have the 3 different types of triangles and then some explanation that you would brainstorm as a class. What is different about a scalene triangle compared to an isosceles triangle? Then you're going to use rulers and your different triangular objects that you've found. So have the kids take a couple of objects, whether you want to do this in groups or individually, up to you, and make predictions about which triangle category they think that object fits into the best. And have them place those objects on your big sheets of paper with the different labels. After they've made their predictions, and on their data sheet, they'll record, I thought that my pine cone was an isosceles triangle, and this is why. Because it looks like one side is really small and 2 sides are long. something like that. Then you give everybody their rulers, and because they're second grade students, you should probably go over a review of this is a ruler and this is how we use it, and what do all the dashes mean, things like that. And then have them go through and measure the different side lengths of their objects. This also could be done by taking the objects and tracing the outline on a piece of paper and then measuring that outline. Maybe easier than having them measure the actual object itself. Go through, do the measurement, and then determine, we thought that this was going to be a scalene triangle, but actually it's an equilateral, and this is why. And have the students rearrange where the triangles are placed on the sheets with the different labels, and explain on their data sheet why, if their prediction was correct, and why, if it was false, and why. And then end with a class discussion talking about, let's see if all the triangles are put in the right place, for one, and if they're not, then you can discuss, maybe we need to move this triangle to a scalene triangle instead of an isosceles, and why would we do that? And just a general wrap-up discussing the different types of triangles. So that is kind of the general outline of the 2 activities involved in my lesson, the triangle search and sort. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing about all of your guys' lessons plans.